Welcome back to the videos, everybody. What I want to show you today is the look at the Bezier curve demos, or a working demo of what we're talking about in the lecture today about Bezier curves. We're going to start off with linear interpolation. So I'm going to start with two anchor points, just a start and an end point, and then if I do that, so we show that there's a line amongst them. So this would be as if the interpolation value here was 1. So you can see the line drawn right across. So if I just start to add some extra bits to that, so now we can see the line being interpolated as you go. So each time increment adds a slightly different interpolation value to what we're doing here, and so the line is gradually going across, and we can see that it's not all that remarkable with a linear interpolation like that, because you can just see the current point just moving along the line that is defined between the two anchor points. Okay, so next, something slightly more interesting. We're going to go instead with three points, one anchor point, one control point, and then the second anchor point. So if I start those going, you can see the interpolation process happening exactly as though we were talking about it in the lecture. So you have interpolation happening between the anchor point and the first control point. That's this dot here, moving down and down and down. We've got an interpolation going on between the control point and the anchor point, the second anchor point, and that's this small dot moving along. And then finally we've got the interpolation happening between that construction line. So this dot is moving further and further along, and you can see as it goes it traces the path. And you can also see that effect that we were talking about before. So you start off with 3 points. 3 points gives you 2 points. 2 points gives you 1 point. And that's moving along. And this applies equally to higher order curves as well. So if I turn this into a cubic instead of a quadratic curve, just add an extra control point. So in each case, the first point I click is the first anchor point, the last point I click is the other anchor point, and then any other additional points in between become control points. But we can see the same principle applying, just in a greater depth of iteration. So 4 points become 3 points, become 2 points, become 1 point. And each time you're interpolating along the lines that are caused by the previous points until you get your curve animation. And this applies to any order of control points. So if I just go a bit crazy with the dots here, add loads. So these are my 2 anchor points. The curve will only pass through the anchor points. Let's see how that goes. You can see all of the construction lines that I've added there, just so you can see what's going on there. So always interpolating between the next set of points, and away it goes. As you can see, you can develop some quite complex curves, all mathematically defined, so you can apply your transformation functions to it. In fact, I have applied transformations to this in order to make it fit on the screen as well. So screen resize will just transform to scale everything in the right place. Let's try a different one. as you can imagine, once you start adding more and more control points, it becomes a little bit more difficult to predict the curve that you're going to get. So this is also one of the reasons why you might want to put together multiple lower order curves in order to achieve the effect you want. So I'm overwriting some of the control points here. It's like the Spider-Man intro. This also gives you an idea of the animated path that you could give something. So you notice this dot at the end, that's essentially the position of the current interpolation. So you can imagine how you might cause an object to be animated or to take its position from this point on the Bezier curve, and then you can animate it following a path. And there's the actual curve that it makes. Anyway, so there's a little look at Bezier curves in live demo, so hopefully you get an idea from that as to what's actually going on, and can put together something yourself. Thanks for listening.